Hello everybody! Welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And today, we're going to take a little bit of time because I was just watching a video today by Sherry, the secretary, who is, her channel name is Desert Rest Nevada, or a Desert Rest NV. Okay, and I listened to her just talk about her anxieties right now because she's getting ready to move off grid, and the weather, of course, on the West Coast, she's moving from California or Northern California to Northern Nevada, and the weather is just not cooperating with her. So I decided it was time to do this video for those of you, because I know Donna Hurd on the East Coast is also looking forward to be moving out into the desert. And she's got a place, I think, in Arizona, moving from North Carolina or something like that. So that's another one. And I've got like 3 others that are doing the same thing. So I'm going to give you some advice, and this is not to deter you or dissuade you in any way from following your dream. This is only to help you avoid getting into a predicament that you can't handle. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do here. I want to make sure that you guys are safe while following your dream. All right? So, let's get started. I got my notes right here, and first of it all, I said, this is not to discourage you or dissuade you from your plans. This is only to keep you from getting into trouble and save you a lot of headaches and possibly save you from some other things too. All right. First of all, these are going to be moving off-grid tips and hints, not anything that you should have to abide by 100%, but just something to make you think when you're making your move, all right, so that you can plan accordingly. All right, now, first of all, there's something that I learned the hard way out here, but I'm a survivalist, and I have been for a lot of years. I started being a survivalist when I was a kid, when I was too young to, in today's world, too young to be out alone, right? And at that time, me and my buddies would take off into the woods and down by the Narragansett Bay, and we'd wander the railroad tracks for miles and miles and miles all day long without bringing a lunch or anything from home. And we knew how to forage in the forest out there, or forage in the Narragansett Bay for shellfish and seafood and things like that. And we lived off of that stuff all day long. We just had to be home before the streetlights came on, because that was supper time. That was the rule. Home before the streetlights come on. And if you weren't there, you didn't only get a spanking for not being home on time, but you went to bed without anything to eat. So it's a good thing that if we knew how to eat out in the forest, because we could go to bed pretty hungry if we didn't. All right. So with all of that being said, make sure that you have a backup plan for everything. Whatever you're planning on doing, have a backup plan, and make it a feasible backup plan. Now, if you're planning on planting a garden so you can grow your own food, keep in mind, food doesn't grow overnight. So it's going to be some time for your food to grow. Now, when I first got out here, one of the things I did was right out there, I had put in a couple of raised bed gardens, just some boards with some good soil, because this is all desert soil. So I put good soil in there, and I planted crops. I planted carrots and corn and all kinds of good stuff. I left for 1 week, came back, and everything was gone, and there was just holes in the ground from where the plants used to be. The critters out here decided that they were going to have a buffet feast, and they ate up everything I planted. Also, this whole area right back here, before I even got this second container, this whole area back here was a planted orchard. I had planted $400 plus excuse me, $400 plus worth of fruit trees. And a lot of those fruit trees had baby fruit on them already, pears and apples and things like that. And my buddy Andy was out here and helped me plant some of those. And we put cages of chicken wire around each one so the rabbits couldn't get to it. But guess what? Tunneling critters got through the ground, ate all the roots off the bottoms of those trees. Climbing critters, like squirrels and mice and rats and that, all climbed the tree and ate all of the leaves and all of the fruit and all of the bark off of those trees and killed them in 1 week's time. So that's how fast a plan can go bad off grid. So keep that in mind. You know, you may say, well, I'm going to plant the garden so I'll have plenty of food to live on. Well, trust me, have a backup plan that if that garden doesn't work, you've got some canned goods that you can live off of. Bring out lots of canned goods. Canned goods will last a lot longer than what it says on the label. The sell-by date is not the eat-by date. You can get a couple of years more out of that. The only rule that you should follow with canned goods is if the can is expanded, throw it away. Don't eat it. Okay, that's botulism waiting to happen. So don't say, well, I'm hungry, I've got to eat something. No, you eat that, you're definitely dead anyway. So, and it's going to be a painful death. So stay away from expanded cans. Now, any cans that are not expanded and they're past the sell-by date on there or use-by date, don't worry about it. You can still use that. It will not be the best quality, but it'll still be good to eat. All right, so make sure you have a backup plan for your garden plans. All right, water. Now, you may have a well on the property you're going to. All right, now you don't know how long that pump has been in there, and you don't know what the quality of that pump is, and you can't see that pump. And there's other things that can go wrong with a well. You can have a broken hose or broken wire. You can run out of power, all of that stuff. You've got to have water to survive. So have a backup plan for water. If you have a well, I still recommend, I highly recommend, if you have a well, get yourself a big storage tank like that. Okay? Have the well pump into the storage tank and have a switch in the storage tank, a float switch, that shuts the pump off when it reaches a certain level. Just because you have a well in the ground and you have piping going straight to your cabin or your RV or whatever, don't rely on that. If the pump goes out, it could be a long time, especially if it's out of season in the winter or something like that, before you can get that pump repaired. Now, if you have a 2,500 or a 3,000 gallon water tank that's full, your pump goes out, you've still got water while you figure out how to get that thing fixed, okay? Have a backup plan. I'm not going to say that enough. Have a backup plan to everything you do. That's very important for off-grid. All right? Heating and cooking. You got to make sure that you have a backup for heating and cooking. You say, well, I've got a stove in the RV, or I'm going to put a nice stove with an oven in my cabin. Well, that's all well and good. But if you only have one, you have none. That's the rule off-grid. Remember that phrase. If you only have one, you have none. Because if that breaks down, you're without. That's it. And you're not going to get another one instantly to replace it. So you're going to be without for a while. Have a backup plan again. Okay, get yourself a little camp stove. Now I know California is outlawing those little 1 pound propane bottles. Okay, I've got a bunch of those 1 pound bottles, and I refill them off of a 20 pound propane bottle. And I've got some camping stoves. And I don't only have propane camping stoves, I have wood burning camping stoves. I have rocket stoves that'll burn with wood and twigs and anything else that'll burn. And I've got charcoal barbecues, hibachis, all that stuff. That's all good backup stuff. And not only will it provide heat, but it'll allow you to cook. Now, for heat, don't use charcoal indoors. Trust me, it'll probably be the last time you ever do it. And when they find the body, it's going to smell like charcoal. I'm not trying to totally scare you away from doing this off-grid thing. I'm just telling you, plan ahead, and this won't be a problem for you. These things will not be a problem. All your food, plan for backup food. Okay? Suppose you get to the place that you're going, and you brought in enough food so that you've got 2 weeks or so of food available with you. Well, what if you get snowed in for 2 weeks? Are you going to go another 2 weeks without food until you can get some? No. Bring backup food. There's a lot of places will sell basically survival food in foil packets and things like that. You can buy chili and beef stew and chicken stews and things like that, all in foil packs. And all you have to do is drop them in a bucket of water or a pan of water and heat it until they're hot, and then eat it right out of the packet. Good practice to always have backup food, water, heat, and shelter. Okay? Now you want to have something to back up your shelter. If you spring a leak in the roof of your RV, and it's the middle of a rainy season, and rain is forecast every day for the next 2 weeks, well, guess what? You can't get up there to fix that roof. So, make sure you have some heavy-duty tarps and some heavy-duty tie-down straps. Don't go with bungee cords. The winds will tear those apart in no time at all. Get yourself some tie-down straps, the ones with hooks on them, ratchet straps, or just the pull-type straps, anything like that, so that you can toss a tarp over the top of your RV and strap it down to the 4 fender wells and the rear bumpers and the front bumpers and stuff like that. Bring lots of that stuff. Bring extra tarps, bring extra straps. Those are very important. You'll use those more often than you believe. Okay? And remember, when you move out to the desert like this, you say, well, there's nothing else out there. That's great. I'm going to have privacy. Yeah, you're going to have privacy except for the critters that live out here. Now, the critters that live out here live a hard life. They don't have somebody to bring them food. They don't have gardens growing. They don't have a store next door they can go to. So where do they go to get food? To every human place and every human RV and every human vehicle that's around here. They will get into it. They will get inside of that. A rat can jump 3 feet vertically into the air. It can jump 6 feet horizontally from one item to another. And they can squeeze through a hole a 1/2 inch in diameter. That's like the size of a dime. Okay? They can get through a hole the size of a dime because their heads don't have rigid skulls. Their skulls are flexible. They can squeeze through it no problem. So be prepared for that. Okay? Because they're going to come. Now, if you don't start your vehicle up at least every other day, especially in the wintertime, the rodents are going to take up residence under the hood, and any other place they can find. If you leave a vent open on your vehicle, they'll get in. Okay, and they're going to chew up wires. Why? Because plastic on the wires is one molecule off from margarine. It's very tasty to the rats and rodents. They don't have that stuff out here, so whenever they find it, they're going to have a field day eating on it. Be ready for that. How do you stop it? Well, you can do a couple of things. You can put mint in your engine block and things like that. But what I do is at least once every other day, I start the vehicle and move it. Okay, even if it's just to drive around the roads inside of my homestead and park it back again. You want to do that because that'll deter them from taking up residence in your engine area. If you can't do that, make sure you have a solar light that charges during the day, and you put it under the hood with the hood open on your vehicle with the light shining down on the engine. And that'll stay on all night long, and that rats do not like light. They like the darkness. So that usually deters them pretty well. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's something you can do. There are other deterrents that you can use for mice and rats. If you have pets around, avoid using any poisons. Don't bring rat poisons and things like that, because there's a problem with the food chain. The rat eats the poison, the dog eats the rat, both of them are dead. So avoid that. All right. Now, the other one. This is happening right now to Sherry, the secretary. Not because she planned it that way, but it happened. And she's got somebody on her shoulder watching over her and telling her what's right and what's wrong. And she decided not to make her move out to the northern Nevada plot of land that she has because of the weather. I would say 100%, for those of you who are not 100% survivalists, for those of you who haven't taken survival classes in the past, do not plan on moving to a location that's remote and has harsh weather going into that season. Okay, don't go there in the winter. Don't leave in the fall to start your adventure off grid. You want to wait until springtime. That's going to give you all spring and all summer long to prepare for winter. Okay, you're going to want that. You definitely want that, because you don't want to be out there and suddenly get stuck under 4 feet of snow and you can't move for 4 months. Okay, so that's not a fun thing. That's not the way you want to be living. So you want to make sure that you're going to move when the weather is good, so that you can start getting everything prepared. And then if you plant a garden and you find out that the critters are getting to it, well, before the winter comes, you can probably put a cage around your garden. And I had to bury aviary wire under the ground too, and use raised beds above that aviary wire so the tunnelers can't get up from underneath. But you're going to want to be able to do that stuff to be prepared for the next winter that comes. And your first year, don't consider that I'm going to move out there and I'm going to relax for the whole first year and then I'll get going. No. Your first year is going to be a total learning experience. You're going to learn things every single day, and make note of those. Don't sit there and cry. Sit down, get on YouTube, ask somebody on YouTube, have you experienced this? What should I do? What can I do? And do that now. Your whole life right now, before you move off grid, should be made up of, instead of planning on oh, this is going to be so fun. I'm going to be able to do my hobbies and I'm going to do artistic work, and I'm going to make pots and things like that to hold water. No. Wait until you get settled out there and then make those plans. Right now, your plans are, what am I going to do if this happens? Think about all of the negative things that could happen and plan accordingly for that. Have a backup plan. That's so important. I said it again, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. I'm going to drive it into your heads. Have a backup plan for everything. Because remember, this is a fact of living off-grid. Everything is harder than you thought. Everything takes longer than you thought. Everything is gone before you know it. Okay? So spend some time, watch survival and off-grid videos on YouTube and Rumble and whatever other social media channel you can get on. Watch people that have moved off-grid, and especially watch those ones where people tell you, oh my God, what am I going to do? This just happened. Or, oh my God, guess what happened to us? This is what we did to fix it. Okay? Make note of that stuff, because it could happen to you. And the more you know, the more chance you have of survival living off grid. Okay? This is not, moving off grid is not, well, I don't have anything else I have to worry about in the world. It's all gone. No. What you used to take for granted, of driving down the road for 5 or 10 minutes to the local grocery store, off grid, that might take you a whole day for a round trip. All right? And if the weather is inclement and the snow is coming down and you've got to climb a dirt mountain road to get to your property, hey, you ain't going anywhere. So plan ahead. Everything has to have a contingency plan. Make 2 plans. When you plan to do one thing, plan to do it twice. Plan to do it 2 different ways. That'll help you survive off grid. All right? So I wanted to make sure I got that off. Now there's a lot more I can go through, but I could run a 4-hour video on this and a 2-week class on it with 2 hours a night for everybody. But you're not going to learn everything. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to learn on the fly. When you get out there, you're going to say, oh my God, I never thought this could happen. Well, trust me, think about those bad scenarios now. Say to yourself daily, every day you're awake and you've got nothing better to do, instead of sitting down watching some foolish crap on TV, sports, it's a waste of time. You don't need sports. Forget it. Okay? Professional sports is a joke. Those guys should not be paid to play a game. And then people should not be going there and paying the extravagant amounts for tickets and food and drink and that stuff that they pay to go watch adults play a game. That's baloney. You're not going to have that out in the desert. When you're out in the desert, you're going to be working. Every day is work for you. You get up every morning, you've got chores to do. Now, you've got chores to do every night before bed. So don't think that this is a circus where you're just going to sit down and enjoy the show. No. No. There's work to do every single day. Well, of course, hey, it keeps you in shape because you got a lot of physical stuff you got to do. You got a lot of walking around you got to do. It's not an easy thing to move off grid. It's not the life of Riley, as we used to say. All right? With all of that now, I guess I better give you something to giggle about, right? Don't forget, questions, comments down below. I'm glad to help anyway, and if I have to do a video on it to be more elaborate more on what you want to know, let me know. I'll be glad to do that for you. I'd rather help you now than hear about your downfall later, okay? let's see. Well, we were talking about gardening and planting and all of that, so I want to tell you this one. Did you know that Bruce Lee had a vegan brother? He had a brother who was a vegan. Yeah, his name was Broccoli. Oh, I know, you're all laughing. I appreciate it. All right, everybody, that's all I have for today. I want to thank y'all for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.